Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Shop My Stash Project Pan video. So Shop My Stash videos are all about doing exactly that, basically pulling out specific products from your collection to focus on for a certain time period. So my Shop My Stash rotations are usually on like a monthly basis. The reason though I call this a project pan video is one, I'm obsessed with project panning, but two, I set a usage limit on all of the products that I pull into my Shop My Stash. So basically what that means is I want to use every product that I'm putting into my Shop My Stash at least 5 times before rolling it out. So with this month's update, I actually have a few products that I have sitting here that I did not meet that 5 usage threshold, and so they are actually going to stay in my Shop My Stash for another rotation so I can get the usage up to 5 times total. And I do that to make sure that I'm kind of actually using the products that I'm moving into my Shop My Stash project pan, because sometimes I put in products that maybe I wouldn't normally use, and if I didn't put like the usage goal, I probably still wouldn't use them very much, if that makes sense. So what I like to do in these videos is go through all the products that were in the last rotation, then put them back, select new products, and then talk through those quickly. So if you are interested in hearing how I did this month with my Shop My Stash project pan, please keep watching. So like I said, I have 3 products that I am going to be keeping in for another round, and that is because I did not meet my usage goal on these. I used them all, but I did not use them 5 times. So the first product staying in until the next round is this Kaja Moon Crystal. This is a sparkling eye pigment, and I'm pretty much just using this as like a base layer and then adding different eyeshadows on top of it. I only used it twice, so really I pretty much just used 2 different eyeshadows. The first time I used it with this Artist Couture eyeshadow that's also in my Shop My Stash. This is in the shade Nebula. So really, really beautiful purple sparkly shade, which I love the pairing of these together. And I honestly thought I'd probably wear them more, but I just didn't, because this is very sparkly, very in your face. And so it was more of like an occasion shade. And I also wore this with Big Wig, which is in my ABH Jackie Aina palette. It's a purple shade that's in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. And I really liked that as well, but that was also with the 2 shades together, like a very obviously purple look. And so that's one of the reasons why I just didn't wear this as much as I thought I was going to, because the looks were definitely some standout looks and I wanted to make sure that I was wearing them for the right occasion, and I just didn't have a ton of occasions to wear those. And that kind of falls in line with why I only used Nebula 3 times, is because I did wear it to work once and 3 different people commented on my eyeshadow saying they all liked it, but I was like, I feel like, I don't know. I got a little like anxious about like so many people like calling out my eyeshadow at work. Maybe that's crazy. And I do like to wear like bright colors, don't get me wrong. I do mix it up at work, but I thought maybe I did it a little overboard with the glitter. I don't know. But then I also wore the glitter 2 other times just for occasions with like going out with friends or like grabbing dinner with Mark. So like then I felt like it was more applicable to the occasion. So I do want to leave these both in because I do love using them and I'm really glad that I rolled them in. I just have to find the right occasions for them, for me to feel comfortable. That's not to say like anyone wouldn't feel comfortable, just for me personally. And then I'm also leaving in my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer because I only used this 3 times. And I do like the shade match with it. I love the scent of this. I don't like how much kick up you get, like it's super, super powdery. But the real reason like I didn't use this all 5 times is because I'm working on a bronzer in my 5-pan rolling style project pan, and I feel like I'm making really, really good progress over there on that bronzer, and I've just been dedicating most of my time to that. But I do want to make sure that I'm not just getting stuck and using only my project pan items, and so that's why I'm leaving this in, and I want to hit at least 5 times in the next month's rotation. Those items are staying in with another one, but this item did not fall into the not being used enough times exception. I actually used this, which is just a black pencil eyeliner from Avon, 15 times this past rotation, but I want to leave this in because this is kind of just going to be a permanent in this project. If you've watched my previous videos for this Shop My Stash project pan, you'll know that this is not really about shopping my stash, it's about finishing this one. And instead of rolling it into my formal project pan, I'm just kind of leaving it in my Shop My Stash project pan to continue using, although I do like counting usage on it. So I used, like I said, I used this 15 times this past month, and I put it through the sharpener, so it got a quick round of sharpening as well. So continuing to make progress there. But the rest of the products in this I used at least 5 times, and I will be rolling them out. So the first one is this Professional Pore Primer by Benefit. I used this 6 times. I do really like this primer. I like how my makeup lays on top of it, and sorry if you can hear the truck backing up outside, but I've been mostly focusing on some foundations that are more matte, and so I haven't needed to wear this as much, although like I said, I did wear it 6 times, and I feel like this is the type of primer that I would pull out anytime that I'm wearing more of like a tinted moisturizer or something that's a little bit more luminous than like a matte foundation, just to prep my skin for it. I also use this Iconic London Illuminator product 5 times. So a couple of times I wore this just like putting it on my shoulders and my collarbone. I actually used it once as a suggestion from one of you, mixing in with my lotion on my legs to give them a little bit of a shimmer. And then the other couple of times I used this, I actually just mixed it in with my foundation, because like I said, I've been using more of a matte foundation, so it just added a little bit of luminosity. But really, I added a drop and you really couldn't tell too much of a difference, just a very subtle difference, which I liked. That's kind of was the preference there, because I was using a matte foundation on purpose, obviously. So I felt like that worked out really well, and I was happy to use this those 5 times, because I really haven't devoted a ton of time to this since I've owned it, and so glad that I kind of found 3 different ways that I liked using it through this project. Next are my blushes. So I used the Buxom blush 8 times. This is Buxom Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush in the shade Dolly, and then I used this Kylie Cosmetics blush in the shade Rosy, which I'll open it up obviously so you can see it. So I used the Buxom blush 8 times, and then I used the Kylie blush 10 times, and very much enjoyed using both of them. I feel like they're definitely a different look. Like this is a much brighter style of blush, and then this is a more mauve different blush, so I was able to pair them with the different looks that I created to kind of match the eye look or match the lip, and I think it helped bring everything together. So I very much enjoyed working on both of these. A lot of my blushes I feel like I have some pan in, and neither one of these I feel like is anywhere close to getting pan, so it was nice getting some good usage on both of these this past month. And then I also focused on a highlighter that also doesn't have pan in it. If you've been watching this series, you'll know that I have hit pan on several of my highlighters, but this is the Urban Decay Afterglow highlight in the shade Sin, and I used this 17 times this past month. And if my camera focuses, hopefully you'll be able to see that I have created quite a dip in here. I use my highlight obviously mostly for like the high points on my face, and then I also pretty much use my highlight a lot of times for the inner corner in my eye. So definitely getting double usage out of this, and I feel really good about the progress that I've made in this. I feel like a couple more months, if it's in a project like this, now it won't be next month, but maybe in, you know, following months, if I have it in a project like this, I'll hit pan, which is super exciting. And then the last 2 products are lip colors. So the first is this Dose of Colors, basically a liquid lipstick in the shade Flirty, and I used this 10 times this past month, which honestly is surprising because I am working on a lipstick in my project pan rolling style 5-pan project pan, and I'm getting very, very close to the end of that lipstick, so it's been like top priority to use. But I've been able to find ways to mix and match, like put this down first and then put that lipstick on top, so I've been able to make it work that way. And also just times when I feel like the pink shade of that lipstick that I'm working on doesn't work for the look that I'm creating, a lot of times like I ended up wearing like this shade with like when I was wearing the glitter and stuff. So this I feel like is a little bit more neutral nude shade that works really well with kind of any eye look, and so I've gravitated towards this when I feel like I needed something to even me out when my eyes were really bright. And then I used my Patrick Ta lip gloss in the shade She's an Influencer 5 times. I absolutely love this lip gloss if you're trying to elevate your look, because it has like little micro glitters in it, which makes your lips look even glossier. So really enjoy using this. I don't know if it's like an everyday lip gloss for me necessarily, although maybe it might be at some point. But like I said, anytime when I want to add just like a little bit extra to a look, I love putting this on, and I just love the way it makes my lips look. So big fan of this and very happy to have used it in this project. Now I am going to go ahead and put everything back in my collection that is going back in my collection. I'm gonna obviously keep the products that are staying in this project out, and then we will go through everything and pick out some more products to work on in the next month or so. Okay, starting with primers and base, I think I'm gonna pull in this e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I haven't used this in, I feel like, a long time, and so I feel like I need to give it some love. So I'm gonna pull that in. And then, like I said, I am working on a foundation, but I also want to spend some time working on a couple of my other base products that I have here, although I thought I had a lot more base products, funny enough, but I've been like flying through them this year. I've already finished 2. So I think I'm gonna pull in my Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. And I think it'll be interesting maybe to see how the e.l.f. and the ColourPop pair together. So I'm gonna work on those 2. I'm gonna leave face powder out because I'm working on a face powder in my project pan, and then like I said, I already have the butter bronzer that is going to stay in this project. So I'm not sure anything necessarily in this one. Yeah, I'm probably going to leave that drawer as is. I'm gonna pull in a highlight, and a highlight actually that I feel like I haven't worked on in a while, or really just used in a while in general, is this NARS Albatross highlight. So I'm gonna pull that one in. I enjoyed using this a couple months ago, and so I think I'll pull that one in as well. And then in terms of blush, I think I'm gonna stick with the NARS theme. I feel like I just worked on this one. I have a pretty good pan going in here, and obviously this is a mini size product, so I want to see how much I can expand the pan. And usually if I just have one blush in this project, that's the one I'm pulling for on most days. I feel like if I use this over a month or so, with this one being my primary blush, I'll expand that pan a lot. So I think that is the goal, and we'll just have some double NARS in this month's rotation. In terms of eyeshadow, I'm hesitant to roll another eyeshadow in because I have both the Nebula and Kaja shade, so I think I'm just gonna leave that out for now. Let's see what I have in here. Oh, I have eyeliners. I actually do think I'm gonna roll an eyeliner in. Like I said, I'm working really hard on that Avon one, but I think it would be fun to spend some time using this NYX eyeliner in the shade Golden Bronze. It's really pretty and I think would work well with a lot of my looks. So I wanna roll in another lipstick. I know I'm working on one in my project pan, but I feel like it would be good to just get another shade to use. And so I have these, and I also have these over here. I feel like I'm leaning towards rolling in my Oma Beauty. This is a Badass Does Not Talk About Being a Badass. I don't know if that's like what this is, but this is in the shade Coretta. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. It's a really pretty like pinky matte nude, and I feel like I have not worn this nearly enough. So I think I'm going to roll this one in as well. And I do always like to bring in a gloss. I have this Becca lip gloss that's pretty pink. Those two might go well together. So I do think I'll bring in the Becca lip gloss as well. Oh, and I also want to work on a setting spray. Maybe my Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, I'm gonna jump back into my chair and then we'll walk through all of this. So as we talked about, my Artist Couture Nebula Glitter Shadow is staying in. My Kaja Moon Crystal Eye Pigment Base is staying in, as is my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and then my Avon Black Liner. And then what I picked out to work on, base, I picked out my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I feel like I just have not given this the amount of usage that it deserves. So I thought that it would be good to just spend some time working on it this month. And then I also picked out my Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer because also, like I mentioned, I've been really focused on more matte foundations. And this is pretty new to my collection, and I think I've worn it maybe like one time. So I need to not always just focus on things that are in my project pan, but use my other products. And that is why, one of the reasons why I even do this Shop My Stash is to make sure that I'm doing exactly that. And so I pushed myself to use this. For highlight, I am pulling in my NARS Albatross highlight as well as my Tarte Tarteist Glow highlight. This is something that I've used in previous Shop My Stashes and I enjoyed it, but then do not use it actually just when it's like in my collection. I feel like when it's in my Shop My Stash is when I actually pull for it and it pushes me to use it. So we will be using those two for highlight. This I feel like I'll be mixing in with my foundation or more so using as like a body highlight. That's kind of how I've used it in the past. For blush, I'm using my NARS. Like I mentioned, this is a mini with a pretty good size pan, and I usually pretty much just use the blushes that I move into my Shop My Stash. So if I'm kind of, not fully, but kind of exclusively using this blush, I think I'll make some really good progress and hopefully expand that pan. So much so that I might need to repress it. If any of you watch my regular project pan, I've been talking about repressing products for a while, and I actually went ahead and did so. So I feel pretty good about now knowing how to do that. I'm not gonna roll in any other new eyeshadows because I have those two that I'm working on, and plus I have my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan, but I did wanna roll in a new liner. This is the NYX liner in the shade Golden Bronze. I love the way this makes my eyes look. It really makes like the greenness in my eyes pop. My eyes aren't technically green, they're more hazel, but it makes them pull more green. So while I'm kind of veering away from my goal of finishing this black liner up by adding another liner in, I feel like I need to just make sure that I'm using my whole collection, and I do really love this liner. I pulled it out a couple times this last month to use, and I was like, wow, I really love this liner. So I was like, let's pull it into this month's Shop My Stash to make sure I'm using it at least 5 times. I'm also pulling in a setting spray because I'm working on a setting spray in my project pan, and I haven't really used this one from Charlotte Tilbury very much, and it's obviously, there's a ton in here. So I figured this would be a good one to just use any, like when I'm going out at night or anytime that I really want my makeup to like stay all day. And so I figure if it's in my Shop My Stash, I'll pull for it more. And then the last two products are lip products. I always love rolling in a gloss, so I'm rolling in this Becca Glow Gloss. This one is just a really pretty pink gloss that I like using, so I'll pair that on top of different lip colors. And then I'm also rolling in a lipstick. This is the Oma Beauty shade in Coretta, and it's this really pretty, like I mentioned when I was selecting it, it's like a brownie nude pink shade that's super matte. So I think that'll be fun to work with. I have not worn it very many times, so looking forward to using that. And that is everything. So I hope you all enjoyed getting to see how well I did on the products that I used last month, and then what new products I'm rolling into this month's Shop My Stash. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video or really any type of project panning video or using your collection type video, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I try to be realistic about makeup and using makeup. Not all of us can have tons and tons and tons of makeup, and really not all of us want that much, right? Like, I enjoy having a more curated collection. I love adding things to my cart in Ulta and Sephora, but I'm also realistic about how much I'm purchasing. At least I try to be, so that I'm not overwhelming myself with the amount of makeup that I have. And so as you can see, when I went through everything, my collection is very curated. It's not huge, and I'm actually regularly pulling in the same products into these Shop My Stashes every few months, and that's okay with me. That's how I enjoy using makeup, and if you're similar to that, then this channel is probably great for you. And if you're not, I mean, and that's totally fine too. I'd love for you to still stay and subscribe and watch my videos. But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to kind of put that out there because, you know, as we're thinking about things going on with the economy, like I want you to feel like you have someone who's on the same page as you if you're on that page with makeup. And if you're not, then like, that's also great, and I hope you still enjoy my content and my videos. So I'll stop there. So I just want to say again, thank you so much for watching. I hope all of you are doing well, staying safe and healthy and happy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.